Hello everybody and welcome to my channel, Persephone's Power. It is lovely to see y'all here today. I have a really exciting tutorial in store for y'all. Not only is it one of my favourite holidays right around the corner, Valentine's Day, I also wanted to create a tutorial that is much more affordable than what I will be creating in the future. So I really put a lot of thought into this one and making it affordable, where you can just go to your local supermarket and pick out some blooms and some foliage. You can also go around your own property and forage for some greenery and such. Valentine's Day is such a lovely holiday, and so it really doesn't matter whether you're celebrating with a loved one, family, friends, it's really just such a lovely holiday to show someone you really care. So without further ado, I'm going to show you some of the blooms and foliage that I picked up at my local market. So one of the most important things that I think is really necessary to go over first and foremost is that normally if you're going to be creating this at home, you're not going to be paying wholesale for your flowers, you will be paying full price. With that in mind, I definitely geared this towards more affordable blooms, like I said earlier, and so I'll just start by showing you some of the ones I bought. So the first one I have is going to be a really pretty spray rose. It's a white magelica, and I really love this because, as you can see, you get almost 4 or 5 little blooms on one stem, so you get a lot for your of bang, so to speak, for your buck. The second bloom that I chose was a really pretty burgundy. This also, as you can see, has 5 blooms on it, and a little bit camouflages with my top, but it's really just really nice to add a little bit of darkness and a little bit more of a rich colour. You'll notice throughout the video that I really tried to shy away from just pink and red. I think it's really overdone for Valentine's Day, and I tend to like slightly moodier pieces. So the other item I chose, really cost effective, it is just a carnation, and I bought these in 2 colours, and the reason I like carnations so much is because I think they're really underappreciated. They're quite fluffy, and they're quite pretty for what you get. I also bought it in peach. You know, I said I don't really use a lot of pink, but I only have about 4 stems of these, and it's really just to create contrast. But look how fluffy it is. It's a really good alternative to, let's say, a dahlia or a peony, if you can't really afford it, and if it's just for, you know, yourself or your loved one in your home. It's not for a fancy event or, of course, a wedding. Some of the greenery that I purchased from the local supermarket, I wanted to stick with some silvery toned greens. That's really important when you're designing, is just really knowing your colour palette and what you're going to work with. So this is called Dusty Miller. It's a really pretty fluffy little green. It's called Dusty Miller because it's quite soft to touch, and it almost feels like lamb's ear, but it's a little bit different from lamb's ear, which has more of a less organic shape. I also chose some eucalyptus. I have 2 kinds. This first kind is baby blue. As you can see, it almost looks like a snack that you might get somewhere if it were like little potato squares, but it is really nice. It just adds a little bit of extra dynamic, and as you can see, it really dances quite beautifully. So I always like using that as well. Another type of greenery I chose is going to be your seeded eucalyptus. I thought was really nice. That's the fluffy one back here, so it's got some seeds and then it's got the eucalyptus leaves, and that is also going to help the arrangement to just smell really lovely. Over here I have blue thistle. Blue thistle, you would think it's really sharp. It's not. It's really actually quite nice to work with, and this really does add an extra dimension to anything that you use. The last 2 greens that I chose are up here. This green one, which has a little bit, it's almost too light a green, but I really like it because it's got really teensy tiny little white buds that you probably can't see here, but I will show you a little zoomed in notice of it. It's pennycress, it's really nice, it just adds a lot of extra flair and movement. This is actually, the purple one is Saladejo. It is though coloured, it is naturally yellow. This one has been coloured a burgundy purple, which really went with the palette that I chose for this specific arrangement. So there are going to be a few tools that you're going to want before you get started. The first one is going to be floral tape. I highly recommend you go buy floral tape. You can buy it in Michael's or Hobby Lobby or really any craft store. Is that it's quite thin, so it's quite easy to use. It's also waterproof, which is so important, obviously, because we're working with flowers. The third thing you'll need, or the second thing really, is you'll need 3 different types of shears. So you're going to want your floral shears. These are really nice, inexpensive pair. I actually bought them in a pack of 2. I think they were about $10 or so for them. These are really nice because they're quite comfortable with the spring, and they're quite easy to use. The second shear is just your average everyday shear. You'll need this to cut the tape, and also when you first get your blooms, they will be in plastic. The way you see them in the supermarket, you will need them to cut open the plastic and take off rubber bands. The third type of shear is not going to actually be used in this video, but I think it's usually important to have near you, especially if you're going to be working with bouquets or boutonnieres, is going to be your wire cutters. So I keep all of these really handy right near me here on this little tray that I use. The other thing you're going to need is you're going to need a vase. So I chose this vase. I bought it from the Magnolia line at Target. I think this is a really nice option because not only are you giving a gift that you created, but you're also giving them a gift that they can keep. So when the flowers inevitably will die or dry out, they will always have this lovely little picture that they can use for entertaining. So the first thing you're going to want to do obviously is add water to your vessel that you're using. I had actually already filled this, so it's actually filled to about, I'd say, a little more than 3/4 full of water. This is really important because you'll want it to look really nice. The second thing you'll want to do is you'll want to get your floral tape. So with your floral tape, what you're going to do is you're going to be creating almost like a checkerboard almost. So you're going to just space them out a little bit. I would go over just the teensiest tiny bit over here, and then take your regular shears and you'll use that to cut it off. And we're just going to keep doing that. I'd say keep between 3/4 of an inch and an inch separated here. The next thing you're going to do is you'll want to go across that. Remember, you do need to have blooms in here, so the most important thing I'd say is usually for the cross, I only do about 2. I think that really just gives you enough room to play with the flowers and make sure that they have plenty of movement without being too overcrowded. So when you're done, you are going to want it to look like this. So now you can start designing, now that you have your base and you have all the tools that you actually need. In an effort to help make this video not last an hour long, I'm going to speeding up some parts that don't need a lot of explanation. So enjoy y'all. Alright everyone, so this is the finished product. I think it's super fun. I think it's really organic, wildflower-esque, and I think the colour palette is really pretty. I'm going to show you all the sides now. So the really important thing is that when you're doing this is you really want to make sure that it looks good from all sides. Especially since you, of course, if you're setting it especially on a table or something, it'll be seen from all sides, so you don't want it to look good just from the front, you want it to look good from everywhere. And even just turning it just now, I noticed a spot that I thought was quite bold right here. You can see my finger down at the end. I thought it was quite open, and so you need something else there. So what I'm going to do is I have one more white flower here. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut and add right here just a little one. So it'll be quite pretty. I might add some really needed colour there. And perhaps we'll add also a solidago. So as you can see, you may think you're done. Surprise, surprise, you're not actually done at all. You have quite a lot more that you can do. And the other thing I noticed here was that it was a little bit lacking of pigment in this little corner, so I'm adding a little bit of solidago right here to just add a little bit more colour there. So there you have it, that is the finished product. I will do a close-up of everything there for you. But anyway, I really hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you'll come visit me again. I will be putting up, or at least I'll be trying to put up new videos every 2 weeks. I'm a little bit new to this whole YouTube thing, so please forgive me. But I hope you enjoyed today's video.